Download I'm a simpleton with a penchant for handsome men, and I have a fiercely protective older brother. After I set my sights on the sinister and ruthless Damian Thorne, the heir apparent of the capital's elite circle, my brother supposedly drugged him and tied him to my bed. He even pulled strings at the registry office to get us a marriage certificate. The only one who really lost out was Damian Thorne. Chained up like a dog, he was fierce both in and out of bed, deliberately venting his anger. After blacking out for the 5th time, I couldn't resist calling my brother to complain, wanting to return the goods. He was still clinging to a rock face somewhere. His voice crackled sharply over the line. "When the hell did I tie that hellion to your bed? Seraphina, run, get the hell out of there. Now," the wind howled on his end of the line. Zachary's voice was raw from shouting. Only then did I realize what a stupid thing I'd done. The sound of the shower was running full blast in the bathroom. Even as slow as I am, I could tell from my brother's tone that I was screwed. I remembered Damian Thorne's threat from last night. "Have you figured out how you're going to die yet?" I thought it was some kind of twisted flirting. I smiled as I fastened the dog collar around his neck. "Of pleasure." I patted his cheek. "I want a pretty, obedient little dog. You'll do." A disturbing darkness flickered in his narrow, fox-like eyes. He pulled his lips into a faint smile. "I have trouble hearing. Can't quite make out the pleas of helpless kittens." I didn't care about any of that. Pretty little dogs deserve to be dominated. I admit I was impulsive. The first time my vision blurred, I scrambled away, begging for mercy. Damian Thorne grabbed my ankle and dragged me back. His voice was lazy, tinged with huskiness. He drew out the last word. "I told you I can't hear you." I passed out 4 times. I slept like the dead. When I woke up, the sun was already setting. Damian Thorne was in the shower. I called my brother. My top was torn to shreds, my skirt ruined. I took his shirt, his suit jacket left nothing behind. I fled onto the street like my life depended on it. Back home, I stumbled upstairs, collapsed into bed, pulled the covers over my head, and opened my phone. I frantically searched for secrets about Damian Thorne. What I read nearly scared me to death. Summarized as, pretty boy hellion, wicked and sinister, unscrupulous methods, ruthless tactics, and also, extremely vengeful. My brother had been rock climbing on a nearby mountain. He rushed back, hair looking like a bird's nest. Seeing the red marks all over me, he thought I'd been beaten. He started cursing furiously. "Damn it, that beast, Damian Thorne, you black-hearted scumbag. You sick freak, look what he did to my sister." Calming down, he sat on the edge of the bed and scolded me. "Seraphina Sterling, are you brainless?" I mumbled softly. "I thought you arranged it." He choked, taking a deep breath to compose himself. "Sis, no matter how much I love you, I've only got one life," I whispered. "I thought you'd pulled it off." At the banquet, I'd seen Damian Thorne, whom others avoided, seemingly bested by my brother. And I thought my brother had presented him to me as a gift. He looked ready to explode. "Don't you know your brother's just some dumb nouveau rich guy?" He raised his hand as if to rap my head. Seeing the marks covering my skin, he deflated. He used protection, right?" He looked at me hopefully. I remained silent. The word bastard was squeezed from my brother's lips. "Bastard, beast, son of a bitch, Damian Thorne, effing hell, I'm going to kill you." Seeing my brother's fury, I didn't dare tell him that Damian Thorne hadn't been willing. It was me who pounced on him while he was burning up. I thought he'd been drugged. Now, belatedly, I realized he might have just had a high fever. Zachary rushed out to buy me the morning after pill. I let out a huge sneeze. "Bro, grab some cold medicine too, please." He nodded, then warned, "Stay home, don't go out." I meekly agreed. For that night, my whole body ached and I couldn't sleep. My best friend, Katie, messaged me wanting to spill some tea. "Big family ritual today. The guy presiding showed up super late." I yawned. "You won't believe how wild his night was. Bite marks and hickeys all over his neck and collarbone, and he was wearing a collar." She described it vividly. The man, dressed in a black suit, tall and elegant, walked through the throng of people. He calmly took the incense sticks. His grandfather was furious, asking where the hell he'd been the past 2 days. The man answered nonchalantly, "Playing dog for someone." When Catherine Astor got to this part, she shrieked like a boiling kettle over the phone. "He looks like some enchanting devil straight out of a fairy tale." The collar was silver, gleaming, absolutely stunning. The old patriarch almost died from anger. yelling about public indecency. What a disgrace after the ritual, urged on by a few uncles, he was subjected to family discipline. She sent me a picture. The man was kneeling, hands behind his back, covered in blood. Old money families didn't mess around with their private punishments. Zooming in on the profile, my heart clenched and a chill ran through me. Damian Thorne, I suddenly remembered something. I clicked on Damian Thorne's friend request from earlier that evening. Damian Thorne, you wore the suit jacket. Selfie showing the collar on his clavicle. Damian Thorne, the key to the collar is in the jacket pocket. Damian Thorne, I have a gathering, I can't be seen like this. Damian Thorne, bring the key back and I'll let everything else slide. Damian Thorne, don't make me come find you 9x angry yellow face emoji. 5 back when I had the assessment. The doctor said that because I was premature, I had a mild intellectual disability. I always thought I could manage daily life, socialize fine, just that my grades were poor. Now I finally understood why they always called me a simpleton. I really am impulsive and easily swayed by looks. My brother used to just send good-looking people to hang out with me. Holding hands was the most we ever did. How could he suddenly serve up such a risque dish? The day before yesterday, just like usual. My brother said he was going rock climbing in the mountains and, worried I'd be bored, sent someone to keep me company. This one cost a fortune to get out here, sis. Go ahead, brother gives you permission to touch a little extra. I nodded vigorously. Half an hour later, waiting at the school gate, I saw Damian Thorne approaching, radiating a chill. Our eyes met, and I fell even harder. He was dressed casually in a blue trench coat, tall and lean. He looked like an exquisite jacaranda blossom brought to life. I sighed, "You're so beautiful, must have cost a lot." Damian Thorne lowered his gaze slightly, a slight curve to his lips watching the show. It was early spring, the season when animals start to breed. My ovulation seemed to have arrived too. Suddenly, I stood on my tiptoes and kissed him. Damian Thorne's detached, indifferent expression instantly froze. 6, he looked like he'd be tough, but his lips were so soft. My movements were clumsy, unpracticed. He got annoyed by my biting. Shedding his refined demeanor, he took control. The sensation on my lips was like a spring rain shower. After a long moment, he seemed to regain his senses. He pushed me away, studying me intently. His tone was serious. "Do you know what you're doing?" I said. "Yes, I'm kissing you." He let out a faint sigh. "Then who am I?" I nodded. "Damian Thorne." My memory isn't great. During the entire banquet, his was the only name I remembered. He paused, stunned for a moment. His fingertips brushed against my cheek, rubbing gently. "What else do you know, besides my name?" I thought hard. Nothing, a complete blank. As if finding the situation absurd, he stifled a laugh, his eyes lowering. "You're this casual with everyone, aren't you?" Before I could answer. His chauffeur circled back around. "Mr. Thorne, you met her here. Shall we head straight to the registry office then?" Hearing registry office. And seeing his almost demonic, handsome face again. My brother is so thoughtful I quickly pulled out my ID card. "Let's register then, you'll be my legal little dog." Then I remembered today was Saturday. I asked, "Can you register for marriage on a Saturday?" The chauffeur's eyes held a meaningful look. He said yes. He looked me up and down, dressed childishly, then looked at Damian Thorne. "Mr. Thorne, are you sure this is Miss C?" He cut him off. His knuckles brushed my wrist as his gaze fell upon it. "Let's go, Miss Sterling." The chauffeur's eyebrows twitched. He shut up and quietly went to drive the car. 7 During the drive, Damian Thorne was silent. His phone kept ringing, but he didn't answer, instantly hanging up each time. I was bored, so I played with one of his hands. "You're so warm. Do you have a fever?" The chauffeur in the front choked on his saliva. Damian Thorne quietly pulled his hand back, signaling me to be quiet. My brother said he'd spent a fortune. I had to get my money's worth of touching. I grabbed his large hand again to play with. Out of the blue, I asked, "Are you nervous? Why are your palms sweating?" This time it was Damian Thorne's turn to cough. He probably didn't smile often. He managed a mechanical grin and averted his gaze. Concise, hot, in the unpredictable warmth and chill of early spring, but he was a man, probably had a fiery constitution. I didn't bother him further and ended up falling asleep leaning against him halfway there. Someone was talking, intermittently, unclear. Something about marriage alliance, absurd, crazy, family discipline. I didn't understand. When I woke up, I just dazedly went through the registration. About marriage, all I knew was that it was a kind of contract. Vows, responsibilities, constraints, fetters. I had no clue about any of it. My memory is poor, I always forget. But hiding at home these past few days, researching, I finally understood. Marriage is a pitfall, a tomb. And getting registered with someone like Damian Thorne meant guaranteed misery and storms. My brother's business deal fell through. Every day, many partners came to our house causing trouble. I tore at my hair in my room. I heard my brother arguing with Mom and Dad downstairs. My brother yelled, his voice raw, "Why isn't there a test for parenting? You both failed, why did you even have kids?" His lower lip trembled with anger. "Last time you wanted to send her to Mr. Davies, the time before that Mr. Miller, whenever there's a crisis, you bastards just want to ship your daughter off." My dad always had a bad temper. He cursed at my brother. "You think hiding your sister away all day means we don't know who touched her?" He said he was angry when he found out. Later, he hired someone to investigate, got the surveillance footage. He discovered that the person who came out after me was actually Damian Thorne, a glittering golden goose. Latch onto him, and you're set for life. Coupled with the fact that the big project my brother just signed went bust, the client was a subsidiary of Thorne Holdings. Meaning, Damian Thorne was forcing me to show myself. "She's damaged goods anyway, might as well get a good price. You keep pampering a simpleton, Arthur Sterling, you old fool," fists and feet flew, sounds of crashing and banging. I huddled in my room, hugging my knees. My mind kept replaying Damian Thorne's cunning, fox-like eyes. That day, he resisted wearing the collar. I thought he'd taken the money but wasn't doing the job. I slapped him. A red flush instantly crept up Damian Thorne's pale face. An unintelligible moan escaped his throat. Beneath me, he pulled his lips into a smile. "Do you know what putting a collar on a wolf means?" I shook my head. He said, "It means, if you don't keep taming it, it will revert to its wild nature and bite its master." Seeing my confused face, he raised his hand, his warm palm touching my cheek. His voice held a touch of hoarseness. "Kiddo, there's no turning back. Think carefully before you act." I leaned down and kissed him, pulled back abruptly, then asked, "Think about what?" The man beneath me arched his back slightly, his long arms sliding around my waist. He flipped me over. "Taming." Then he held my hand, gently guiding it, letting me fasten the collar around his neck. "And reinforcement training, constant reassurance, even suppression, until its wildness is stripped away." Until he placed the end of the collar chain in my palm, his eyes deep. "You can easily hold this leash." My brother had trained large, unsocialized wild dogs before. The steps were exactly as Damian Thorne described. I asked, "Are you talking about taming large dogs?" My brother said it was too dangerous, wouldn't let me join. I could only watch from afar. My brother said, "You're too weak and you don't know how to use tools. Wildness is hard to tame, it could bite your neck off in one go." I suddenly felt Damian Thorne was a wild wolf, and I had mistaken him for a dog. Humiliated, I put the collar on him. The first time I crawled away begging for mercy that day. He leaned over me, his body perfectly fitting against my back, hot breath on my earlobe. The man's voice was soft and magnetic. "From now on, remember to hold the leash tight, provide constant reassurance, prevent being attacked back." I listened in a daze. Tormented by him, turned over and over. But the first time wasn't particularly long. I tried to push him away, but he caught my fingertip between his teeth and bit gently. I instinctively tensed up. Damian Thorne, however, trembled violently. A flicker of panic crossed his eyes. My hand trembled as I reached to undo the chain. I don't want a little dog anymore." His expression changed, his eyes cold, pinning my wrists above my head. He bit hard into the soft flesh of my arm. I cried out in pain and bit his shoulder hard in return. Damian Thorne showed no anger, smiling instead. This also counts as a taming method. You hooked me, now you dare give up." His well-defined hand slid down the chain, all the way to my ankle. He caught it, pulling me closer. "If I catch you, the chain will be on you." And his other hand rested on my neck, stroking idly. "I'll lock you up and you'll never get free." Remembering this, I thought he was too terrifying and secretly wiped away tears. My brother brought up some fried chicken. His voice came from above. "What are you crying for? Worst case, I go back to selling pastries. We won't starve." He warned me. Seraphina Sterling, I'm not blaming you. I know what that little brain of yours is thinking. That sicko Damian Thorne wants to force you out into the open. He sat down, picking out a large drumstick for me. So we just won't go out. It's just business, right? It's not like we haven't been poor before. But Mom and Dad didn't want to go back to struggling. I saw the bruises on my brother's face and body from Dad hitting him. My heart ached with a sour feeling. 11. I met Damian Thorne again. Forced. Catherine Astor said she and Damian Thorne were distant relatives. Not close. I flushed red, questioning her. Not close, but he still comes to your graduation ceremony? She winked. My mom said he came to thank us for the black chickens my family sent him after the last family ritual. Does that add up? As we spoke, Damian Thorne walked over gracefully, holding a bouquet of flowers. I froze on the spot, afraid to look up. My palms were clenched tightly. My heart felt like it was telling me one of us was going to die today. Good day, sir. Katie greeted him politely. Damian Thorne handed her the flowers, completely ignoring me. Like a traditional elder, he asked about her grades, career plans, aspirations. I stood beside them, breaking out in a cold sweat. Katie suddenly grabbed my arm. Sir, this is my best friend, Seraphina Sterling. I was so startled I let out an involuntary hiccup. Katie knew I hiccuped when I was nervous or scared. You know each other? No, Damian Thorne said. He glanced at me briefly, his expression flat and indifferent. Miss Sterling, hello. His gestures were humble and polite. Exactly like someone meeting for the first time, I clung to a sliver of hope. What if he'd had a fever that day and didn't recognize my face? I pretended to be calm and greeted him. He simply nodded. Then Katie's classmates came over to discuss the graduation party location. I visited her often, so many of them knew me. One rich kid had expressed interest in me before. He handed me a box of beautiful pastries, smiling softly. Katie said you like these. I queued up at dawn and finally got them. I lose all sense when it comes to food. He catered to my tastes, so he must be a good person. Thank you. I happily strolled around the campus with him, played fun games on the field together, completely oblivious to a gaze from the shadows, sharp enough to kill. 12. For a full 2 weeks after that, Damian Thorne and I didn't meet again. It was as if he really had forgotten the face of the instigator due to his fever. I actually felt relieved. The person who gave me pastries was named Jasper Astor. He had been very attentive to me. I told Jasper I didn't want a date. He said it was okay. Liking you is my business. Whether you accept it or not is your choice. He also respected my little quirks. Whenever he traveled for business, he would send me pictures of manhole covers from around the world. I firmly believed all manhole cover QR codes were tickets to a magical world. One time, I scanned a picture he sent and got a surprise. The magical world sent me a parrot messenger. The note in the parchment envelope read, "Trigger the keyword, and the messenger can predict humans' true love." I devoutly asked the parrot where my true love was. It said, "Your destined prince is currently being delivered characteristic. He has your favorite animal in his left pocket." The next second, Jasper Astor rang the doorbell. His left jacket pocket really did contain a curly-haired guinea pig munching on Timothy Hay. I had never told him what I liked. Seeing me, his eyebrows lifted. Considering adopting the human along with it, I had just nodded. My brother came home. 13. Jasper Astor went silent for a day, but I wasn't worried. My brother said if I wanted to date, he had to vet the person first. I squatted by the box, watching the guinea pig eat hay, humming softly. Katie Astor sent me an address. She was going abroad for a while and invited me out for farewell drinks. I originally booked a small room, but the manager said I was today's lucky winner and upgraded me to a huge suite for free. I set off. Room 3011. Passing room 3010, the door was slightly ajar. I saw Jasper Astor's face. In his arms was a scantily clad, flashy woman. There were quite a few people inside. Someone exclaimed, "How long did it take? You really bagged that simpleton?" Jasper looked smug. "Dealing with a simpleton is easy. Use some cheap tricks, make her believe in a magical world. Little Parrot says, your true love is Jasper Astor. Ha ha ha," the crowd laughed mockingly. "A dimwit indeed." Jasper casually kissed the woman on his lap. He continued, "The ones I usually play with are too sharp. They always want an equal exchange, wanting money and love, and they even covet that spot on my marriage certificate. Another similarly dissolute-looking man exhaled smoke. If you hadn't found her first, I would have made my move long ago. Jasper raised an eyebrow. Her brother watches her like a hawk. She's definitely a virgin. But after I'm done playing with her thoroughly, anyone else want a taste? Line up. Several hands went up. Bro Jasper, she might be simple, but that face is really something. I'll be dreaming about her tonight, hee. Let's make up another magic story for her. All go at once, see whose kid she gets pregnant with first. Damn, Connor Quinn, you're disgusting. That person lounged back on the sofa casually. Then you go be a saint yourself. He wasn't happy. No way, if we're having fun, we have fun together. Listening by the door, I felt a chill run through my body. Hey, whose shadow is that at the door? Hearing someone get up, I quickly ran towards the elevator. The doors were almost closed. Perhaps it was luck. A hand with well-defined knuckles reached out and blocked the elevator door. Stepping inside, that hand quickly pressed the close button. The elevator went up. He pressed the button for the top floor. I turned to thank him. A different kind of shiver ran through my entire body. Damian Thorne. Draped over his jade-like hand was a gleaming silver dog chain. A smile played on his lips, his gaze brushing over my face like a feather. Long time no see. 14. His expression was completely different from the one at Katie Astor's graduation ceremony. He seemed to see right through my extreme nervousness and fear. He said lightly, "Don't be afraid. This chain is for leashing a dog." He looked down, murmuring softly, "Seems like it ran off." I relaxed slightly. Quietly pressing the button for the first floor, I asked him, "Aren't you going to look for it?" For a moment, his expression turned indifferent. "She doesn't seem to want me to find her." I couldn't help but imagine Damian Thorne's bad reputation. Could it be animal abuse and the animal ran away? In the silent, confined space, I found something to say. "What kind of dog is it?" The elevator reached the top floor. The doors opened to reveal decor completely different from the floors below, minimalist black and white. Damian Thorne answered absently, "A very cute one. A dog that bites. My favorite kind." The shiny silver chain was wrapped around his arm, coil after coil. He looked at me, his narrow fox eyes glinting with cunning. The chilling indifference simmering in his gaze made my spine tingle. Damian Thorne leaned in, his almost ethereally handsome face inches from mine. He smiled wickedly. "Right here, my fickle, heartless little dog." His voice came from close by, faint, carrying a cold, teasing undertone. Like a cat playing with a mouse, reveling in the terror of its captive, he wore that look of smug satisfaction. For the first time in my limited range of emotions, I felt the crushing weight of impending doom. 15 too many things happened today. I was completely dazed. It took me a long time to even react to being brought into the room by Damian Thorne and having my ankle chained. One end of the chain was clutched in his hand. I remembered his threat again. "I'll lock you up and you'll never get free." Curled up on the sofa, I looked up and met Damian Thorne's dark eyes. He didn't speak. Sat upright, his fingers slowly caressing the smooth surface of the chain. He still had a high fever that day. My body had become a mottled canvas. If it were now, I suspected he could snap my neck with one hand. After a long silence, my stomach protested first. Damian Thorne glanced at me silently, then got up and went into the kitchen. He came out carrying an ornate box. "Eat, don't starve." A casual, harsh remark, but even though I was nauseous with hunger, I didn't want to touch pastries from this place ever again. Because of Jasper Astor's hypocritical fawning, what I once loved had become disliked. But Damian Thorne's gaze was burning. He raised his hand, his cool skin touching my hot cheek. His tone held a barely suppressed irritation. "Don't you like it?" I shook my head, eyes red. He seemed to have reached a conclusion. His lips twisted into a self-mocking curve as he said scornfully, "Looks like you just don't like things I give you. Mustn't provoke the bad guy. I like it." I reached out, grabbed a piece, and stuffed it into my mouth. Chewed twice. Sweet, cloying, combined with the nausea from hunger. Jasper's filthy words still echoed in my mind. Multiple emotions overwhelmed my stomach. Without warning, I threw up the pastry. 16. Damian Thorne instinctively opened his palm to catch it. I pushed him away and scrambled off the sofa. Clutching a trash can, I vomited until tears streamed down my face. He timely handed me a bottle of water to rinse my mouth. Then his voice came from above. "Why do you hate me so much?" His leather shoes clicked on the dark gray tiles, stopping inches from my slumped body. Then he bent one knee, kneeling on the floor with the other. His large hand snaked around the back of my neck, applying pressure, forcing me closer to his breath. "You did something wrong, so you have to pay the price, right?" His cool fingertips traced my skin, followed by the mingling of lips and teeth, fierce, as if intending to devour me whole. Only then did I remember to cry. But the more I cried, the harder he pressed. As if at this very moment, he was determined to kill me in the dying embers of the sunset, almost at the edge of suffocation. He suddenly released me, allowing me to collapse limply in his arms. Then he reached up again, wiping my tears with his sleeve. The force was heavy, smearing them. I bit down hard on the back of his hand, a fight to the death. Our eyes met. The light caught his eyes, his brows curved downwards in a sorrowful arc, while my eyes held only hatred, disgust. "Bad man, don't touch me." The light faded, dusk fell. The thread holding Damian Thorne together snapped. 17, he stood up, his stunningly beautiful face showing a strange look of pitiful helplessness. His limbs seemed to move uncontrollably, pulled by invisible strings, becoming a marionette. "Why again?" Damian Thorne drew out the last word, his tone dropping, pitiable. Then his voice rose, mixed with gritted teeth resentment. "Why they can so easily snatch you away from me. I'm just a damn dog, tricked by you time and time again. Your overflowing affection, spare a little." He lowered his voice, seeming about to overflow with grievance, his tone dropping again. "Spare a little for me, can't you?" I didn't know what he was talking about. His arms were slightly open, wanting to touch, but he just lowered them helplessly, suspended in midair. "Seraphina Sterling, I told you, if you provoke me, you have to take responsibility to the end." A large vase of Juliet roses on the table became the victim. Petals scattered. Glass shattered everywhere. I was scared to death. Fatigue was evident between Damian Thorne's brows, his gaze coiling around me like a venomous snake. I've fantasized countless times I should kill a fluttering butterfly. He looked at me, his thin lips parting slightly. That way, she would be mine forever. I stared at him in terror. He suddenly smiled, leaning closer, baring his teeth, putting on a well-behaved act. "Ah, my clumsy pup, you don't understand, do you?" Tears in my eyes, I shook my head. I asked him, "Are you going to kill me?" His lip, bitten by me earlier, looked even redder. A soft, moist touch spread from my neck, moving slowly upwards. Provocative heat brushed against my ear. "Kill you. How could I bear to?" Damian Thorne's voice was incredibly gentle as he met my gaze. "What I mean is, we should stay here and do it until we die. Until the end of time, indistinguishable from each other." 18 Damian Thorne's kiss carried a certain self-destructive finality. I was trembling, crying, too desperate to summon any strength. He released me for a moment, saying fiercely, "Even if you're scared, you'll take it." I bit my lip until it bled, the taste of blood welling up. Crying, begging for mercy. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have provoked you." He covered me again, saliva mingling, lips and teeth entangled, tasting the blood on my lips. I could feel his fire subside, his rationality return. He slowly released me. I saw blood dripping from between the fingers of his left hand. Are you okay?" Following my gaze, he paused for a moment, looking down, opened his palm. Several pieces of broken vase glass fell clattering. He seemed unable to feel pain. Instead, his brow smoothed, and he let out a belated sigh of relief, as if regaining control of his body, relaxed. "I'm fine." 19, he got up and went into the inner room. He came out holding 2 small boxes, a necklace and a bracelet. After putting them on me, he pressed his thumb against my lips, wiping away some of the blood. "What are these?" I held up my wrist with the pretty bracelet. He said slowly, "Trackers." "What about the necklace?" He evaded the question. "Do you hate me?" Against my conscience, I said, "No, I don't hate you. I mistook you for someone else. It was my fault." His hand was very cold. As he touched the necklace, the back of his fingers brushed against the skin on my neck. I let out a quiet hiss. Damian Thorne glanced at me and said, "You're lying." My heartbeat stuttered. "No, I'm not lying." It told me. Damian Thorne held the necklace between 2 fingers. His icy voice softened with mist. "It can tell me if you're lying or not. Seraphina Sterling, if you lie, you'll die at my hands. Look at me, answer again. You hate me, don't you?" I licked my lips, suppressing a tremor. "Yes." He didn't get angry, just froze for a moment. then asked, "You hate me very much, don't you?" His fingers were still fiddling with the necklace. I said, "Yes." He seemed too calm, which made me more scared. Then I felt lighter as he lifted me onto the sofa. "Sit for a while. I'll go find something else to eat." 20, he started bustling around, busy like a headless chicken, spinning in circles, sometimes muttering to himself. Double yolk, cracked a double yolk. The pasta, I remember taking it out, even though it was right beside him. He rummaged through cabinets looking for it. Other times, he was very silent, one hand braced on the dressing table, standing slanted, merging with the dead quiet of the night. The kitchen glass was transparent. I quietly reminded him, the water's boiling." He responded with a calm "oh." After bustling for ages, he made a plate of spaghetti with tomato sauce. Brought it to me, but it didn't seem like it was for me. I tried to flatter him softly, "Your cooking looks really good." He snapped back to reality, his gaze shifting to me. Indifferently, "You want some?" I nodded. He handed it over, "Eat up," adding, "After you finish, I'll send you home." Overjoyed, I took the plate and dug in, partly because I wanted to go home. The other part of my joy was eating something delicious. I never hold back praise for a good cook. "You're really good at this." He paused for a moment. "You like it?" Delicious. It seemed like praise was a way to dilute his ferocity. He lifted his chin proudly, casually saying, "I know how to make other things too." Damian Thorne didn't go back on his word. I nearly licked the plate clean. He stopped my hand, saying helplessly, "No need for that. I'll take you back." His gaze fell on the tracker on my wrist. "But you have to come back." I nodded obediently. "Then can you not target my brother?" He hesitated. When did I, meeting my hopeful eyes, he suppressed a smile, his voice lilting upwards. His thumb traced my lips back and forth. "Of course, as long as you're good, I can agree to anything." "Really?" He hid the rampant desire in his eyes, his face impassive. "I'm a businessman. Integrity is fundamental." 21, he took me to room 3011. I glanced at 3010. It was a mess inside. Looked like the nest had been raided. Damian Thorne showed no surprise, just gestured for me to find Katie. As I was leaving, he grabbed my wrist and tapped his own lips. "Didn't you say you'd be good? Don't forget this from now on." I was processing his words. A second later, he nonchalantly lowered his gaze. "If you don't want tea," I spoke at the same time, "you're too tall, you have to bend down." He remained indifferent, maintaining his superior posture, as if the earlier flicker of panic was my imagination. He leaned down, and I stood on tiptoe to give him a peck. "Okay," he seemed slightly unsatisfied, secretly licking his lips. I entered the private room and closed the door. Catherine Astor was drinking while waiting for me. Perhaps overestimating her tolerance. Half a bottle of Qingdao down, she slept until 7. After I shook her awake, she let out a bellow from her diaphragm. Damn, when did my alcohol tolerance get so bad? She didn't suspect anything. Dragged me out for good food, gossiping about people she knew. As we left, she saw my necklace and bracelet. Her eyes lit up. "Where'd you get these rare things? Such big gems," I said. "I found them." She muttered softly, "Why do I feel like those few stones in the middle look so much like the main family's heirlooms?" 22, my brother came to pick Katie and me up. Back home, he secretly showed me a video. A prime piece of real estate in the new South Bay development. "Bro, did you strike it rich again?" He covered my mouth. "Quiet down, don't let those two hear." Turns out, that Thorne subsidiary from before had internal corruption, bad apples driving out the good, a huge network of graft. Headquarters performed drastic measures, cleaning house from top to bottom, a major reshuffle. The original cooperative projects were a mixed bag and needed re-evaluation before continuing. Information was locked down during the investigation. Small and medium enterprises inevitably suffered. My brother looked smug. My project, after evaluation, got transferred to an even bigger subsidiary of Thorne's. Guess they have good judgment. He quieted down, asking, "Damian Thorne, he hasn't contacted you, right?" My acting skills had improved. I shook my head. "Why would he contact me?" My brother relaxed. "I was just worried that sicko had bad intentions, offering help time and again. It just doesn't add up, definitely nothing good. I refuse to sell my sister for glory." He told me to carefully choose the floor plan and layout. "We'll move out soon, save those two from plotting schemes all day." Mom had been constantly looking for a good match for me, who could afford an exorbitant bride price. Like that extremely wealthy Ainsworth heir with the cleft lip from the gated community. Or Mr. Davies from before, bride price in the millions, all going to the mother-in-law, no demands on the wife as long as she could produce a healthy son. As for my dad, he just listened to her. 23, after adding Damian Thorne on the messaging app. To prevent my brother from finding out, I labeled the contact. Katie Astor's distant uncle. He was terse, almost always giving commands. Say good night to me, good night. Can't you add a title? Me, title, good night. The indicator showed he was typing constantly on the other end. Finally he sent, replace the word title with my name. Me, Damian Thorne, good night, well done. Pin my chat to the top. I did as told. He asked, anything happy happened today? I quickly replied, no. Okay, conversation over. Usually he would also ask me to go over to his place. Chauffeur has arrived. One chauffeur has arrived. I was extremely satisfied with my own obedience. When he stared at people, it meant he wanted a kiss. Turning around suddenly while cooking meant he wanted a kiss. Seeing beautiful scenery also required a kiss. Watching horror movies, kiss. Watching romance movies, kiss. I suspected his mouth had magnets, always sticking to other people's mouths. But he was easy to appease. Easily ruffled, but if you were willing to smooth his feathers, he'd calm down before your hand even touched him. I absurdly started thinking he wasn't so scary. 24, although Damian Thorne spoke little. He loved posting on his social media feed. For over 3 months, there was different content every day. His parrot learned to say my name, with video proof. His guinea pig missed its companion, asking me to bring mine over to play. 9 photos from a mountain climb, sweat soaking his white shirt. The fabric was very cooperative, clinging to his abdomen, revealing defined abs. Swimming photos from every angle. Elegant in a suit, attending a fashion show abroad. A handsome face dominating the financial news channel. I'm someone who forgets pain once the wound heals. I started drooling again. My lecherous thoughts flared up, and I directly forwarded it to Catherine Astor, sighing in admiration. Katie, you've been eating this well on your feed before? My phone dinged. Our favorite risque blogger updated. Good stuff, had to remind her. Katie, our happy place has new content. Then I started unleashing a stream of suggestive comments. Dumplings should be eaten piping hot, men should be loved big and strong. Gray pants really do make it look bigger. Gazing at his bulge with admiration. Gently caressing, then provocatively plucking, feet wrapped around brother's waist. Really want to sleep with him, so badly want to chain him up, ravage and torture him fiercely. Kiss his tears dry, praise him good boy. Whips, candles, chains, all ready, no regrets even if my mouth splits daydreaming is allowed. I want to do him hard, sent over 20 suggestive messages. Continued immersing myself in my digital harem, randomly favoring electronic male concubines. A few hours later, Catherine Astor finally replied. I opened the chat. My world collapsed. Sent to the wrong person. Damian Thorne sent an address. I'm done with work. Still want me? Then, come over. Because his contact name included Catherine Astor's name, and their profile picture color schemes were similar. Reading through it all, it looked like Katie and I were fantasizing about him, and I accidentally sent it to the man himself. 25, no need to bring your own chains, I've prepared some. I didn't dare reply. As for candles and whips, I have a meeting later, maybe next time. Half a minute later, if you like, we can do it. Try not to hit my face. Another half minute. Hitting the face is fine too. Perhaps seeing no reaction from me, he sent a picture. Taken from the opening of his unbuttoned shirt collar. Taut 8-pack abs, raw desire hitting the screen. Don't want to come out? I'll have the chauffeur pick you up. I tried hard to explain. Mr. Thorne, I'm sorry, I wasn't talking about you. A long silence. I hadn't yet realized the ambiguity of my words. Damian Thorne's anger burst through the screen. Who else? Who did you want it to be? Who is that adulterer? Playing dumb again, are you? I'll investigate immediately. When I catch him, I'll definitely kill him. I really am simple. Seraphina Sterling, you really do forget the pain once the wound heals. I need to see you immediately. Are you coming yourself, or should I pick you up? My brother called from downstairs, saying he was going out and asking if I wanted matcha cake. I carefully tried to appease him. Damian Thorne, would you like some matcha cake? He somehow got even angrier. Matcha cake? You look like a damn green matcha cake yourself. He fiercely sent dozens of angry fire emojis. Don't want to see you, Seraphina Sterling, you liar little cheat, I immediately replied. Okay, then I won't come over. His typing indicator abruptly stopped. After a long pause, got guts. I replied, thanks for the compliment. I happily ate and drank. Having matcha cake made me crave my favorite strawberry cream puffs, so I posted on my feed, daydreaming, may strawberry cream puffs appear in my bowl. The next day, Damian Thorne suddenly came online. Want strawberry cream puffs? Ha, I'm still very angry, very come over obediently, eat by yourself, don't bother me. I asked Catherine a store, if this happened in a novel, what would it mean? She sent me a suggestive emoji sticker. Hehehe, time to get down and dirty, he wants to investigate your background. She added a comment. What story is this? Send it to me, hee. I deflected. Incognito browsing, can't find it anymore. Sighed and replied to Damian Thorne. Yes. He sent an address, then come. 26. The secretary led me to Damian Thorne's office. He was discussing business with someone. Seeing me, he ended the conversation and gestured for me to come over. Come eat. I have a meeting soon, can't stay long. My heart sank, might as well start from the top and work my way down. I kissed him directly on the lips. I don't know what cologne he used, it smelled like a crisp grapefruit grove. His mouth seemed even softer. He seemed stunned, backing away slightly, but I followed. Damian Thorne stopped retreating, letting me kiss him roughly. Afterward, he started to heat up, his large hand cupping the back of my head, taking control. After a long time, I pulled back slightly, panting, met his damp eyes. Except the tips of his ears were redder than his cheeks. He licked his lips, appearing indifferent. No kissing, hurry up and eat, I have to go to the meeting. Oh, I reached for his belt buckle. Damian Thorne reacted like a cat whose tail had been stepped on, suddenly bristling. He grabbed my wrist and pinned it against the backrest, his brow furrowed tightly. What are you doing? Never mind what I'm doing, I definitely saw my sister come upstairs. This place is a den of wolves, I need to make sure she's safe. Familiar voice, my brother's. Behind him was the secretary, trying futilely to stop him. Mr. Thorne is busy, and you don't have an appointment, then I heard my brother cry out in pain. Ah, Damian Thorne, you effing beast, busy with what? I don't care if I die, I have to beat you senseless. My brother charged over recklessly and punched Damian Thorne. The two grappled, kicking over the box on the small table. Everything inside spilled out, dozens of strawberry cream puffs of various sizes flew through the air. 27, bro, stop fighting. Damian Thorne didn't fight back at all. My brother hit hard. He used to box, aiming mostly for vital points. I threw myself forward, shielding Damian Thorne. My brother's fist stopped midair. Sierra, move, I'm going to kill this animal. Worst case, I spend a few years in jail. When it came to me, he was impulsive, completely irrational. Let alone any legal consequences. I cried, pulling his hand, dragging him away. Bro, let's go. He didn't hurt me. He's just someone unimportant. Didn't you say not to let unimportant people affect you? In my peripheral vision, Damian Thorne staggered to his feet, his shoulders trembling slightly. He waved away the approaching bodyguards. The sun was setting, the light thin. A faint layer of brilliance touched Damian Thorne's profile. I don't know why. I saw a desolate, twilight sadness in his eyes. My brother was furious, struggling to restrain his fists. He pointed at Damian Thorne, cursing, "Touch my sister again, one finger, and I'll risk my life to fight you." Then he looked at me. "Tell brother, what did he do to you? Did he threaten you?" I shook my head, mumbling, "No, he just invited me to eat strawberry cream puffs." Strawberry cream puffs? He was fuming. Bad guys all use the same tricks. This is how they lure kids, haven't I told you? He's rotten to the core, infamous, his crimes too numerous to count. You couldn't find anyone in the world who'd like him. My brother glanced at the scattered puffs on the floor, lifted his leg, and kicked over the remaining ones in the box. Angrily stomped on them a few times. To hell with his puffs, anything from someone like him can't be good. It's filthy. Let's go. Zachary dragged me away. As we turned the corner, I glanced back at Damian Thorne. If I could have foreseen the future, I wish I had looked a few seconds longer. His expression was quiet, indifferent, as if he had expected this. Not moving an inch, not daring to touch, only letting his gaze follow freely, chasing me to the corner. Calmly accepting the judgment of abandonment. 28, my brother and I prepared to leave the city. He gradually shifted the company's business focus south. During these days, Damian Thorne frequently made headlines. Internal employee reveals: Thorne Heir's office regularly stocked first aid kit. Suspected violent tendencies club surveillance leaked heir slaps a store heir in private room. What for? 50 million financial hole. Exposed Thorne Charity Foundation, a money laundering channel. Oversees illegitimate son, paralyzed after falling from horse. Lawyer reveals heir met him night before removal from trust. List an overwhelming flood of slander and curses. Some dug up his mother's scandals. The psycho's kid is sick too, no wonder his mom jumped off the building in front of him. Who could stand having such a lowborn kid who abused cats since childhood? We played together in the same compound as kids. He was malicious, pushed my pregnant aunt, causing her to lose her baby. Commenter above brushed with the devil too. Be careful in life, don't let this beast retaliate. 29, in everyone's eyes, Damian Thorne was irredeemably evil. My brother was very worried. Convinced he was vengeful and would definitely bite back. He didn't even finish handing over the business before taking me away. What about mom and dad? He scoffed. Let them die wherever. One's a gambler, the other's a coward. My mom was addicted to stock speculation, lost everything. The whole family ended up sleeping in parks. That's why my brother dropped out of school to start a business. My dad couldn't control himself, had affairs everywhere. Even had an illegitimate daughter. Because the illegitimate daughter didn't like me, he abandoned me at a train station one snowy day. My brother's life plan always included only one extra person, me. 30, before leaving, I met Damian Thorne once. His family doctor contacted me. I asked who he was. Simon Chadwick, Damian Thorne's friend and doctor. Miss Sterling, sorry to bother you. His tone sounded anxious on the other end. I can't find him at several of his properties, don't know where else he could be. Haven't been able to reach him for a day. Dr. Chadwick said the chip implanted under Damian Thorne's skin detected faint vital signs. Miss Sterling, if you remember anything, please call this number back. I was packing my bags, suddenly thought of the Shang Ting Club where we met, and reminded Dr. Chadwick. He rushed over but found the password had been changed. Damian Thorne had registered my fingerprint. His vital signs continued to weaken, growing fainter. I didn't think much, just asked the bodyguard to drive me over. Opening the door, a strange scent hung in the air. That day I learned that blood mixed with malachite green rust creates the smell of rotting apples. Sweetly cloying, yet churning with the metallic tang of rust. Damian Thorne, 31, Dr. Simon Chadwick rushed over. I stood frozen, staring at his mangled wrist. Beside his hand lay an antique copper dog figurine, the oxidized parts showing malachite green rust. It was the only gift I ever gave Damian Thorne, bought from a struggling old trinket seller on one of my visits to his place. I didn't care if it was real or fake, just felt sorry for the old man. When I arrived at Damian Thorne's place, I was late. He wore a sour face. This is my birthday present. He snatched it, pouting. So ugly, and it's rusted. Actually, he had only mentioned his birthday once cryptically. I had long forgotten. But seeing his sour face failing to hide the joyful leap at the corners of his mouth, I didn't argue. He was visibly happy that day. Kissing me, he was so gentle it made me shiver, holding me like a priceless treasure. But when talking to me, his tone changed again. His words were barbed. Ugly little dog, the ugliest birthday present I've ever received. I'll throw it away later. I helpfully suggested, then I'll help you throw it out when I leave. He got angry and possessive. No, my things can only be handled by me. So he hadn't thrown it away. 32, Dr. Chadwick's private hospital sent an ambulance and staff. Damian Thorne's face was deathly pale that day, like stagnant water, frightening me. Yet new headlines appeared online. Heir secretly meets children of disgraced officials, golf course becomes new hub for power money deals. The expose claimed confidently that Damian Thorne was currently in Hong Kong. The video timestamp released was also from today. I suddenly doubted all the previous rumors that had spread like wildfire. Damian Thorne was an enigma. His possessiveness and affection, seemingly baseless, were even harder for me to understand. He never explained, allowed misunderstandings to fester, as if voicing certain things would shatter the beautiful dream of reality. I didn't stay long. Dr. Chadwick gave me a meaningful look. "You're leaving the city?" I nodded. He sighed quietly. "My workload is about to increase again." "What?" he replied. "Nothing, just stuck with a difficult patient." I gave the bracelet and necklace to Dr. Chadwick, asking him to return them. Then I left, heading south with my brother. 33, learning about the landslide in the Sewaging Mountain area from the news, and rushing to the disaster zone. It was the 36th hour since I'd lost contact with my brother. A year had passed since leaving the capital. His business in the south was flourishing, but he traveled frequently for work. This trip was to a mountainous region. Unexpected heavy rainfall occurred. I rushed over immediately, like a headless chicken. "My brother's name is Zachary Sterling. Is he among the injured? Has my brother been rescued? Have you found my brother?" No one responded. "Seraphina Sterling." A familiar voice cut through the rain. I actually saw Damian Thorne in the southern mountains. Just recently, the news reported he'd met with misfortune during the inheritance battle, severely injured and comatose, potentially withdrawing from the center of power. Seems those news outlets had also lost their integrity, serving the powerful. I ran over, tears welling up before I could speak. "Can you help me find my brother?" His clear voice fell. "Don't be afraid, I will definitely bring him back." I grabbed his hand. "Then you have to come back safely too." He had already entered the mountains once. His face was caked with mud. So much so that I couldn't see the pale skin, the colorless lips beneath. "Yes, I will." He raised his hand, wanting to touch my face, but ended up lowering it, giving me a comforting look. Then followed the rescue team into the mountains, a year apart. He wasn't distant towards me. Everything felt like yesterday. Mist and rain veiled the landscape. I watched his figure disappear among the peaks, feeling the frantic beat of my heart. I urgently sought answers, wanting to understand this baseless trust and familiarity I felt towards him. 34 Damian Thorne kept his word. He found my brother. The tracker beeped. Thorne's rescue team set out. Only my brother returned. His face wore an expression of bitterness I'd never seen before. Not even that winter when Dad stripped him naked and beat him out onto the street. He never shed a single tear. "Where's Damian Thorne?" I asked. He seemed completely stunned. "Brother, where's Damian Thorne?" After I called his name several times, he dazedly raised his hand. Stuck to his arm was a childish sticker. My brother stared blankly at his arm, his lips trembling, seemingly muttering to himself. "My sister doesn't even believe in this anymore. Why do you still believe it, you fool?" His shoulders shook uncontrollably. His head lowered, hands covering his face. I saw the dried blood in the creases of his fingers getting soaked by the rain again. The rain poured down, the mountains silent. My brother was the first to remember that person. A mute boy who constantly clung to his sister. A troublesome kid, always hiding inside a princess mascot costume. 35 Zachary Sterling believed a life of hardship needed an outlet. Thank God, he was given a sister. One year, Arthur Sterling had an affair. Helen Sterling threw herself into the stock market. Soon, the affair was exposed, job lost. Stock market crashed, debts piled high. Zachary dropped out of school to do business. Seraphina Sterling was sent to a charitable special school. Arthur and Helen Sterling turned to alcohol, living in a drunken stupor. 36 Zachary was busy selling pastries. By the time he realized Seraphina had picked someone up, a whole damn year had passed. She said he was a non-verbal classmate with autism from the special school. He only listened to Seraphina, hiding inside a princess mascot costume, letting her lead him around. Zachary didn't like him. What brother would like some brat stealing half his sister's attention trouble? But Seraphina was a stubborn, kind-hearted simpleton. She read too many medieval shoujo manga, fancied herself a knight. She firmly believed she would meet a princess she needed to protect for life. Zachary was speechless. "Even if he's wearing a princess costume, he's a boy." Seraphina insisted, "He's as beautiful as a princess." Zachary had never seen his face. "Is he better looking than your brother? You've met a few guys and think he's the best." Seraphina persisted, "He is my princess, I am his knight. Look, she had made a sword out of cardboard. I must protect my princess, we even signed a contract." Zachary saw the little red booklet in Seraphina's hand. An inexplicable annoyance rose in his heart. "Don't buy red drawing books anymore. Looked like a marriage certificate. Bad luck." 37 Zachary felt he'd stumbled into big trouble when the school administration called him in for a meeting. He learned that the mute boy had violent tendencies, mental illness. His file stated he had a notorious reputation from a young age, prone to baseless violence. Zachary was furious. He had allowed a ticking time bomb near his sister. Always hiding in that costume, must be a pervert. Downstairs, he headed straight for the small woods behind the school. 2 children were by the river. Seraphina greeted him excitedly. "Brother, look at my strawberry cake, little fish bought it for me." Zachary asked coldly, "What did he do to you?" She was clueless. He just bought me strawberry cake." Zachary kicked the cake over. "To hell with strawberry cake, anything from someone like him can't be good, it's filthy." He grabbed the little pervert. Surprisingly light like paper. "Little liar, learning bad things, think your brother's dead and gone? Dare touch my sister, 1 finger and I'll beat you senseless." He ripped off the costume. His fist stopped mid-air before landing. Zachary felt like he was hitting a battered skeleton. Visible areas were covered in bloody marks and bruises. He couldn't believe this skinny creature, looking barely alive, could be responsible for the crimes listed in the file. The little pervert didn't fight back. It was spring then, rain falling heavily. Large cherry blossoms wilted, falling into the muddy water, barely clinging to life, just like he looked. He just blinked his wet, dark lashes, lost and helpless, but his gaze was fixed on Seraphina, unwilling to look away. Zachary released him. "Don't come near my sister again," Seraphina cried for a long time, wanting her princess. "He'll get bullied, didn't brother say? Don't judge a person based on what others say." He instinctively retorted. His own family doesn't love him or want him. What kind of good kid could he be? Her eyes turned red. "What about us then? Is it our fault that mom and dad don't love us?" He paused for a moment, but still sent Seraphina to a regular school. 38 until Seraphina skipped school and got caught. He flew into a rage and went to the special school. He thought the little skeleton had lured her away. Only upon arrival did he find him near death's door, chained up in a room like a dog, wrists bleeding profusely. Zachary yelled, "Isn't anyone going to do anything? Where is everyone?" A nurse strolled over leisurely, telling Zachary to mind his own business. Death would be a release for him. Only then did he learn how cruel wealthy family struggles could be. To destroy someone, first call them crazy, mentally ill. The blame was too heavy for a child to bear. Pushing a pregnant woman causing miscarriage. Feeding siblings poison. Just tactics for the mistress to legitimize herself after moving in. For the first time, he felt powerless. Watching the paper-thin child lying sideways on the floor, muttering something. Zachary leaned closer and heard him chanting a spell, clutching a sticker on his arm. Something he used to fool Seraphina, claiming it was a product from the magical world. 1 sticker per wish. Out of 20 stickers, she gave her princess 15. Still puzzled, "Brother, why do all my wishes come true but his don't?" Zachary frowned, thinking, wishes don't come true probably because he doesn't have a brother. He crouched down, asking the fragile, beautiful troublemaker, "What did you wish for?" He could be merciful and help this one time. He was already delirious, his voice thin as a mosquito's buzz, words fragmented. "Buddha, I want a piece of pretty strawberry cake." Actually, magical world Buddha nights didn't fit together at all. Zachary always thought only Seraphina would believe it. He found it amusing. "You want to eat it now." The child was frighteningly pale, yet a chilling smile played on his lips. "Please deliver it to someone named Seraphina Sterling. Thank you, Buddha." Zachary paused. "What about you, yourself? Do you want me to save you?" He said. "Thank you, don't save me. I need to go to heaven to protect Seraphina Sterling." 39 Zachary blinked. He was starting to lose heat, teeth chattering. Zachary murmured, "Buddha says people who commit suicide can't become guardian stars." "Then, how can I?" He said, "Buddha doesn't know either, but when you grow up, you'll definitely know." Years later, Suijing Mountains. An aftershock triggered falling rocks. Damian Thorne pushed my brother away. My brother crawled over, asking who he was. Damian Thorne couldn't speak anymore. Thick, sweet blood surged in his throat. He instinctively raised a hand to cover it, but warm liquid sprayed through his fingers. My brother heard sounds like drowning coming from him. His Adam's apple bobbed, trying to swallow, but it only caused blood foam to flow back through his nasal cavity. Formless syllables escaped his throat. Now, can I go to heaven to protect Seraphina Sterling? My brother's memories from years ago surged back, overlapping with the present. That fragile troublemaker, left hand unconsciously scratching the ground. My brother handed him the marriage certificate from the mud. Damian Thorne placed it over his heart. The half-opened inner page showed a photo of him and me. Raindrops fell into his calm, undisturbed eyes. My brother picked it up with trembling hands. Discovered there was no official stamp on the inner page. The marriage certificate number was a string of random characters. Just a legally invalid placebo. The rain stopped, clouds dispersed, the mountains silent. Bonus chapter: Damian Thorne won before my mother went to seek her God, she told me. Since the beginning of time, beings have been veiled by ignorance, bound by the knot of craving. If the knot of craving is not severed, suffering will not end. Unable to sever the entanglement of thirst and craving, one cannot extinguish suffering. Hold Mama's hand, let's go to a place free from the entanglement of craving, a place without any suffering. Her green dress, long hair, swaying precariously on the balcony edge. I recoiled. Her beautiful dark eyes blazed, long nails tearing painfully at my cheek. Mama is doing this for your own good, because no one will ever love you. She was extremely agitated. No one will love trash that can't even please his own father, son. You are ill-fated, thin-fortuned. Remaining in this world will only entangle you in craving, an endless sea of suffering. But God will grant us transcendence. I didn't believe in ghosts or gods, nor did I think she had achieved enlightenment. Otherwise, when father frequented brothels, she wouldn't kneel before the Buddha, repeatedly chanting, "Glory and decay pass like lightning and wind. How can longevity compare to the bloom of a flower?" Trying to explain away her husband's infidelity as worldly impermanence, using emptiness to mask suffering. I exposed the truth. She still accepted God's instruction, cursing me to never find love in any lifetime. Then, like a large green bird, she spread her arms and fell. For me, love, hate, passion, greed, anger, ignorance, none of it mattered, alive or dead. Aphasia, mental illness, autism, violent tendencies, I didn't care. The kids at the special school all said I looked like a ghost. A skeleton ghost chained to the bedside. Unable to move, I was even more a filthy ghost. One holiday. Children exchanged gifts, hugged each other. No one hugged me. Only Seraphina Sterling came. A talkative pest, a little girl who wanted to be a knight. She treated me like a plant, constantly carrying me around. Back then I was non-verbal, chained up for long periods, my muscles atrophied. She carried me on her back everywhere. To look at flowers, bask in the sun, watch the flowing river. Talked so much, it seemed she could chat a truly autistic person into opening up. She held me, wrinkling her brow and nose, saying, "You need a bath." I lowered my eyes, afraid to look at her. She held me for a long time. Maybe only a few seconds, but it felt incredibly long. I suddenly understood what my mother meant. If the knot of craving is not severed, suffering will not end. Just that little bit made my heart itch, my bones ache, spawning endless craving. If there were more, I dared not think, an endless sea of suffering. The moonlight was pale, water rippled. I decided to go meet Mother's God too. Beg him, let me be free. Seraphina Sterling scooped me up. "How did you fall asleep while bathing?" She brought scented soap, a soft towel, a loofah sponge, looking smug. "There's a performance tomorrow by visitors. I'll wash you up nicely, then lots of people will hug you. The adults from outside will give you yummy food and fun toys too." I wanted to resist, but had no strength. She was a healthy, rosy little dumpling back then. Her brother raised her well. In comparison, I could only be her marionette. Thankfully, the moonlight softened my blush. She scrubbed my dirty face haphazardly, and by the moonlight, seemed to discover a new continent. "You're so beautiful, like a princess." But the next day, during the visit, the school wouldn't let me leave my room. Seraphina Sterling charged out, carrying her princess mascot costume like a little puppy. "You can go out if you become a princess." Hidden beneath the costume, the whole world seemed gentler. My stepmother played the part of a sanctimonious philanthropist. "That bastard has surprising staying power, still alive. Hope he's 6 feet under next time I visit." Turning, she saw me, her voice saccharine. "Is there a little princess inside? Let Auntie see?" Through the costume's eyes, her face grew larger. I trembled uncontrollably. Seraphina Sterling descended like an avenging angel, brandishing her half-made sword, rushing over, standing protectively in front of me, fiercely telling the witch, "Don't touch my princess, beware the knight's sword." The adults roared with laughter. Someone explained she was intellectually disabled. My stepmother teased her, like teasing a puppy. "Well then, Sir Knight, do you believe in the magical world?" "I believe," people told her performing certain rituals would earn her food, toys. She was delighted. Spun in circles, bowed 3 times to a large tree, barked like a dog. More adults joined the revelry. They thought bestowing items could offset the maliciousness of their mockery. At night, Seraphina Sterling gave me all her spoils. She said, "I'm not that stupid, there's no magical world." Clever, right? This way we get the most gifts. I nodded silently. No magical world, all fake. The next second, she pulled out the stickers, waving them. "This is the real stuff from the magical world. All wishes can come true. Princess, don't tell anyone." 4. Seraphina Sterling's brother didn't like me. He was always bristling. "Stop carrying this skeleton ghost out of the school. What if he dies on the road?" Seraphina's eyes turned red. "But he gets bullied." Zachary started a fried rice side business, saying while flipping the wok, "I don't care, tell him to get lost pronto." Seraphina held my hand. Under the costume, I watched him cook up a storm. "Brother, add 2 eggs and ham, little fish eats too." Zachary cursed. "Damn you, Seraphina Sterling." No, the rice was ready. A huge bowl piled high like a mountain, with egg and ham, lots like pig feed. She never finished her portion. I ate the leftovers. Zachary tossed a bowl at me, grabbing the costume collar fiercely. "You ghost who hasn't eaten in centuries, don't share a bowl with my sister. If she learns to lick the plate like you, you're out." 5. Seraphina Sterling made me try the magical world stickers. First wish. The school bully stops hitting me. Or stops kicking my legs, they're about to break. Her eyes shone brightly. Later I learned she got into a fight, lost, slapped herself twice, and cried her way home. The knight lost, but the knight still had her brother. The school bully wet himself whenever he saw me. Seraphina Sterling lifted her chin proudly. "See, believe it now, the magical world will protect the princess." I believed. Believed Seraphina would make wishes come true. She continued carrying me around everywhere. Zachary fumed, but would put me on the back of his little tricycle. We collected bottles along the way. Flowers of all colors bloomed beside the road. I made Seraphina a simple radio. A few copper wires arranged just so could pick up intermittent channels. A clear female voice said, "Youth is the shortest yet happiest time in life, isn't it?" Another person replied, "As long as you are loved and love someone, any time is the best time." We also bought many large soup bones with meat still attached, very cheaply. Seraphina wouldn't eat them. Zachary tossed them into my bowl, saying fiercely, "Then it's the dog's lucky day." 6. I got greedy. So my mother's curse came true. She said I would never find love. If I did, it would be fleeting, wishful thinking, ultimately ending in abandonment and oblivion. One quiet night, Seraphina Sterling disappeared. Much later, I learned that Mrs. Sterling incurred huge debts. The creditors were vicious. Seraphina fell down the stairs while fleeing. Zachary transferred her to another hospital overnight. The family moved away. But I didn't know then. Lived in constant fear. Under the vast sky, nowhere to hide. The knight's contract in the red drawing book seemed mocking. When we met again, she had indeed forgotten. The way she looked at me was just like everyone else. I suddenly realized there was no princess costume to hide in anymore, no knight either. No one would peel back the rotten exterior to see my heart. The depravity within me swelled infinitely. So what? I survived by fighting and snatching. I could surely snatch this time too. Lurking and pretending were my specialties. As long as I snatched her, she would be mine. Infamy, scorn, I didn't care. Simon Chadwick hit the nail on the head. Damn, first laser skin lightning, now vasectomy. Can't your mouth soften up a bit? Is admitting you're a woman's dog that embarrassing? 7 Sewaging Mountains, the rain fell densely. The communicator was dropped and stopped working. One last sticker remained. I gave it to Zachary Sterling. He laughed, calling me a fool. Seraphina didn't believe anymore, yet I still did. I remembered the past, countless near-death moments. I would stick one on my hand. I'd say, "God save me, I haven't found my knight yet." So it worked this time too. The communicator really started working again. Zachary turned me onto my side. I couldn't see anything clearly, my mouth filled with the taste of blood. He told me not to sleep. Dimly heard many voices. I was getting tired. Seraphina Sterling threw herself onto me, pressing her ear to my chest, listening to the faint beat. "Princess, I'm here." "Night, my night. 8 on rainy days, my leg hurts. New injuries, old ailments, I'm used to it." But Seraphina Sterling would snuggle close, looking at me with heartache. "Does it hurt?" She doesn't treat me like a dog anymore. Although if she beckons, I automatically put on the collar. I've become the night's princess again. Being loved makes one petty. I frowned slightly, burrowing into her arms. "Yes, it hurts so much." She pecked me once. "Now," I said, "still hurts." She pounced like a puppy, kissing me all over, setting me ablaze. Lightning flashed outside, thunder rumbled. We clung to each other desperately. The doorbell rang. Zachary Sterling stood there with bags of groceries. "Why are you two in the dark?" I sighed softly. "Every rainy day, he worries my limp will prevent me from cooking for Seraphina. Insists on coming over to be the chef. He went into the kitchen. I wanted to help. He glared fiercely. Sera said you're practically dying of pain. Stop pretending here. I'm not going to laugh at you." A moment later, he roared again. "You beast, I told you to rest, not to go gnaw on my sister, Seraphina," and I looked out the window. I said, "The weather is really nice." She looked puzzled at the wind and rain. "Are you sure?" "The weather is nice, I think."